Hola mi gente bella, I'm finally back with another episode of Jeremy's Clubhouse.
Welcome to Jeremie's Clubhouse, aka where we make traditional artwork with lots of new materials to see what I love. Okay, let's get started.
So if you're new here, my name is Jeremy Serrano. I'm a freelance artist and vegan recipe developer, and this is my platform known as La Comida Jeremy. And I started this series last year. I haven't posted in like 2 months, but it's because I've been testing out different supplies, which I should have made videos for, but I just haven't been happy with the results. So I finally found a tool, I guess we can call it, that I actually have been falling in love with. So in this series, I'm basically testing out different tools in traditional mediums so that I can get back to drawing more holistically, I would say. I think drawing digitally for the past 2 or so years has really stopped me from creating so freely. I think when you're drawing digitally, it can be really hard to just be very expressive, and you have so many options that it makes it like very difficult to decide on what you want to make or do, or what you want a piece to look like, because you can change it so easily versus working in traditional mediums. You kind of have to like stick to what you're doing, because if you change the paint color, it can mess up the painting, or you can do a different tool over something that you didn't want to, and it messes up the painting. So basically, I want to get back to drawing traditionally and then also mixing that in with my digital mediums. So for episode numero tres, I think this is the third episode. It's been so long since I filmed a video. I was supposed to post one back in January and I didn't because I didn't like the way the video came out. So I'm finally back. This is episode number 3, and we're gonna be trying out Tombow pens. I think that's how you pronounce it. Before we get into that, I do have to shout out another artist, because you guys know that in every episode I am wearing an artist's t-shirt. So this artist is Danny Brito. He is one of my favorite artists. He is a queer Latino. He lives in Miami, I believe, with his partner, who's also an artist. He's a tattoo artist. I just love the way he draws. I think it's like, it gives me like the 1950s feel, but also like very modern, because he incorporates like queer and like sometimes witchy vibes, and like these are these little Kewpie pie monsters. I just love all his stuff. It's really good, and you guys should definitely check him out because he's amazing. And also like a queer Latino artist. Like, it's really hard for me to find male queer Latino artists. So it's nice when I do, and I think I love his work. You guys have to check him out. But without further ado, let's go ahead and jump right into the video so I can give you guys a proper look, how I'm going to use them, what I use them for, and then towards the end of the video I will come back to give you my final thoughts and whether or not I'll be using these in my art going forward. Alright, so in this set you get 3 dual brush pens, and I was so excited to try these. I have been learning Japanese, but I cannot read any of this lingo on here. But nonetheless, there are some English titles of what the brush pens do and also what they are. Each of them are kind of like, some of them are finer, some of them are thicker. When you press it down, it creates a thicker line. If you press lightly, it creates a thin line. I was so excited to use these, but here I'm just unboxing them for you guys so you guys can see what they look like firsthand. If you're interested in buying these, I will leave the link down below. Make sure to check it out. So yeah, anyways, let's go ahead and jump right into the drawing part of this video, which I'm so excited to show you what I kind of came up with. So now what you're seeing me do is test out the tools, which I always recommend doing if you're going to be doing anything in regards to traditional mediums. Art supplies can be very costly, especially if you are a freelance artist like myself. These pens honestly weren't that costly, but when you total everything up at the end of the year, it adds up. So you don't want to be wasting any tools. And so when I'm creating anything, I like to test out tools on the paper that I'm going to be using it to see if there's any bleed, and also just see what they do for me. So here I am just testing it. I also like to do some test illustrations, which is why you see these little funny guys with big ears. And then I'm going to do another piece of just like some citrus, lemons, some kind of fruit, just test out the line work as well as to see how it shades and the dotting, and just see what inspires from this testing period. I always recommend, like I said, doing this because it truly helps you see how the tools are going to react to what you're doing, and also it helps you decide which ones you're actually going to want to use. For this video, I decided to use all 3 of the dual brush pens. However, I ended up seeing which ones I loved the most, which I'll talk about more at the end of the video. But for now, here's some more of me drawing. So something that I've realized a lot in this series that I've been doing of using traditional mediums to create my art is that I really like to mix digital art with traditional. So in this case, what I did was actually create this whole full piece on my sketchbook, in my sketchbook actually, and just use the tools that I have at hand to then put this into my iPad and see what else I can do with it when I scanned it. And so that's the approach that I've been taking with traditional art lately. And so I think these brush pens have really helped me kind of continue to do what I have been inspired to do with traditional mediums, which is literally making pieces as well as using it to create my handwriting. I love my handwriting in real life, and sometimes when I use it in like Procreate, it doesn't translate the way I want it to. So I think these brush pens did a really great job at just like line work as well as fine line work, and it really helped me kind of get the message across that I've been wanting. If you look at my artwork, you'll see that I love spooky stuff, very sketchy, rough work, and also just phrases that inspire people. And so that's kind of what I did with this piece. I literally just scanned it, put a background on it in Procreate, and then uploaded it to my Instagram, and I loved the effect that it had. And I must admit that even though I am doing this series and also using traditional mediums off camera in my own time, I haven't been doing that much traditional work as much as I had planned to this year, but I decided to do a bigger piece to see kind of like how I could use these pens to really inspire me to continue to draw in my sketchbook and also make full finished pieces and originals, and just use these tools to continue to inspire me to do traditional work. It's just really hard when you have gotten so used to Procreate and digital work and being able to do the undo button, but using these pens really taught me to just appreciate again the rough lines, the sometimes making mistakes, and also teaching me how to properly use these in the way that I do in my style. So I got to like do the line work, but I also got to use it for shading and also see how it works and how it doesn't work for shading. So this piece right here is my character. If you follow me on Instagram, you'll know him as Grimmy. He's a Grim Reaper, just a cute little guy. He's just like an indecisive character that I have, and I created him like last year, and I just wanted to continue to make pieces with him. So this is something that I'm probably going to turn into a digital slash traditional artwork. But I really just wanted to do some line work because he is literally line work full. When I did his like fabric, his little costume, it is completely like line work, scratchy, what is the word, just very line work heavy costume. And when I created in Procreate, that's what I was going for, and I just love how it shows up in the illustration because it really gives it a lot of texture and just like a different kind of volume to him, because it is a very simple design. A lot of my characters are just very simple. I always have the two dot eyes, so I wanted to find a way to kind of add some texture to my characters and add some life to it. And as you can see here, I was able to accomplish that in traditional mediums with the brush pens, and I loved it. I loved it so much. And maybe I should talk more about the pens actually. These pens are freaking amazing. I have had them for months, probably like half a year now, and I just never used them. I don't know why. They were sitting in my studio, but this series was honestly like the perfect reason to use them. And as you can see here, I used literally all of the pens for both of these Grimmy sketches, and I loved it. I found out that I loved using the gray dual brush pen to make like the shadows and like background colors, and then there is one of the pens that is perfect for line work, and I will leave all the links again down below so you guys can check them out. But I highly recommend these pens. I really am in love with them, and I just love this piece. Like, it really showed me what I could do with these pens. And this is just a reminder that in these videos I'm not always going to make a finished piece or like pieces that I'm 100% in love with, but I'm able to show you and myself what I'm able to do with these traditional tools so that I can continue to make artwork and hopefully offer some really fun pieces in my store as well as my portfolio. And I'm really in love with this piece. I can't wait to like do it again. I think I want to redraw it digitally, but also using this initial illustration. I don't know what else to say. I feel like I'm just rambling, but here's some music until we finish this illustration. So even though I gave you some of my initial thoughts in the video, I just want to give you a final review on the actual pens and what I think about them. This pack comes with 3, and they're individually packed so you can buy them individually, but the pack that I purchased came with 3. I'm gonna look for the listing because I don't even remember where I bought this from or where I got it from, or where you can purchase them. So if I find it, I will link them down below. But again, you can literally just Google Tombow pens and you're gonna get so many options. So this one comes with the green one, the blue one, and the gray one, which is a dual tip. So I found the green and the blue to be very, very similar to each other, except when you held one down more, it would make thicker lines versus the other one, like it wasn't as thick. So I definitely enjoy both of these the most, and they're the ones that I have been using the most after I made this video. The gray one definitely makes some super thick lines, but what I've been enjoying this one for is the actual gray marker that comes in this dual tip, not the black side. I love the way that the pigment is. I think it's a beautiful gray tone, and I've been using it to color in stuff, so like for shading and also like backgrounds, as you saw in this video. So I think I would mainly use this one for that versus actually using it to do line work, because I don't really think that this one did such a great job with line work. As you can see in the video, I'm not doing any like calligraphy or like letter writing. My handwriting is literally my handwriting for the most part in my art. I like it to look more like sloppy, not so fine, and I like it to look more like a handwriting like you would find like in a notebook or something. So I like this pen for shading and stuff, like I said, but these are the ones that I'll be using moving forward. On a scale of like 1 through 10, I would rate these individually. The blue and the green one, definitely a 10. The gray one is like a 8 in my opinion. Overall, as a set, if you're gonna purchase these, I would give this a 10. Like, this is amazing. It's super pigmented, creates great lines. If you have a steady hand, your lines are gonna come out super straight. If you're into the more like shaky lines or not so perfect lines like I like in my artwork, I think you would also enjoy this because it helps create that same idea and like concept that you make in like Procreate, but you can do it in real life, which is something that I love when creating anything in like my sketchbook or like on paper. This is giving me what Procreate gives me digitally, but in real life. So I've been really obsessed with this. I've been using it for like sketching and like just writing stuff and like scanning it into my computer so I can then use it in Procreate. I think this will definitely be used in my method moving forward. I don't know what else to say. They're amazing. Honestly, give them a try. That is all that I have to say for this art video. Did want to mention that I'm going to start posting these more frequently because I do have a couple of art products that I want to try out, and I'm kind of at the point where like I've used these to the max that I want to, so I'm ready to move on to the next thing. So we have a couple more videos coming out. If you are not subscribed to the channel, make sure you subscribe, and also make sure you check out my shop, my Ko-fi page, my Instagram, and you can find all those links down below. I will see you all very soon. I hope your year is off to a great start. Quarter 1 is basically coming to an end, and I hope Quarter 2 in the springtime gives us an amazing time this year. But yeah, that is it for me. I hope you all enjoyed this video. Make sure you guys give it a thumbs up. I will see you in the next one. Take care y los quiero mucho. Ciao.